Hello everybody, it's Non-C News here, and today we've got a lot of breaking dates today. So the first news today is coming from Russia, which will just first go on to some trade subjects first. So we've just got news that Russia will be suspending wheat supplies to Syria due to government uncertainty and payment issues. We've already got news that the Ukrainian agriculture minister has stated that Ukraine is ready to send supplies to Syria in terms of wheat, because Russia is now suspending wheat supplies to Syria due to, I quote, government uncertainties and payment issues. So Russia's doing exactly that, and it seems that Ukraine will be stepping in Russia's place and sending Syria wheat. We've also gotten some key statements coming from President Vladimir Putin in a United Russia Party Congress. So Putin hosted a little Congress meeting with different governors, different powerful people in Russia, and I'll just really quickly go over the quick dot points, what he made and key statements. So he first thanks United Russia members for their great contribution to ensuring the security and sovereignty of the Russian Federation. The country's army, navy, defense industry, and volunteers are working around the clock, bringing Russia's victory closer. Putin thanked everyone who contributes to protecting Russia's interests, both at the front and in the rear. Russia will harshly suppress any attempts to undermine the unity of the country and is ready to fight back, and I quote, on the entire front. All the tasks facing Russia in the near and long term will be solved, Putin said. He noted that Russia is developing the country's economy, and it's growing against the backdrop of the unprecedented sanctions and blackmail, and attempts to hinder Russia will never achieve anything. Putin also said that the confrontation with Russia's opponents now affect not only the fight on the front, but also other areas including culture, and Russian authorities must check every step with the opinion of the people. So, very interesting news coming from Vladimir Putin's statements. We've also got news coming from the Kremlin and the government of Russia that Indians will be able to travel to Russia without a visa from spring 2025. And along with that, India has also ordered 12 Russian-designed Su-30 combat aircraft. We've also got news coming from Ukraine. So we've got a very big news coming from Ukraine. And I'll really quickly just summarize what's happened in the past couple of days. So Russia fired 93 missiles and 200 drones at Ukraine, Zelensky stated. So, President Vladimir Zelensky reported that Russia launched 93 missiles, including cruise and ballistic missiles, and nearly 200 drones in one of the largest attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure. So this large-scale attack comes when the Ukrainians struck a Russian city, the Russian airbase here, with the American-made ATACMS missiles. So it seems that a lot of Ukraine's energy infrastructure was pretty much damaged. We also got news that during this huge-scale Russian missile attack all throughout Ukraine, the Polish Air Force was raised in the morning due to the massive strike. So very big and interesting news. We've also got some statements coming from the NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte. So NATO Secretary General warns the alliance of future Russian threats. The NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte cautioned that the alliance is unprepared for the challenges of Russia could pose in the coming years. He urged a shift to a wartime mindset, emphasizing the need for significantly higher defense spending. He stated that danger is coming at us at full speed. What is happening in Ukraine could happen here, the NATO Secretary General stated. We've also got news that the White House has also announced a new military aid package to Ukraine. So the advisor John Kirby stated at a briefing that this new aid package to Ukraine will include air defense systems, artillery, drones, and armored vehicles. At the same time, other details of the 72nd support package for Ukraine are still unknown. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, this is all the some of the details of the military aid package that the Americans are now providing to Ukraine in the near future. We've also got news that Norway is to train Ukrainian F-16 pilots in Portugal. So starting in early 2025, Norway conducts training for Ukrainian F-16 pilots in Portugal, taking over the program currently hosted by Denmark. So Norway will be training Ukrainian pilots at the start of 2025. We've also got news that Ukraine has declined a Christmas Eve ceasefire and prisoner swap, the Kremlin reports. So during talks with Vladimir Putin, the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban proposed a Russia-Ukraine prisoner of war swap and a ceasefire to be established on the Orthodox Christmas Eve. The Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said Russia sent its proposal via Hungary, but it seems that Ukraine has seemingly rejected the initiative, Russia stated. Moscow apparently supports Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary's efforts to achieve peace and a ceasefire in Ukraine. And probably one of the biggest news come today in Ukraine is that a new Ukrainian tactical symbol, square, so you can see here in the bottom left corner, has been detected, possibly preparing another incursion into Russia. So again, I don't have any more news about this, but a new tactical symbol has been spotted among Ukrainian vehicles, heavy armor, and we'll see what happens here. So people have been saying that this might be another offensive into Russia, like the cursed one right here. So I'll keep you updated on that. Now let's go to Poland, where we've got news that the president of France, Macron, visits Warsaw for talks on European peacekeeping mission in Ukraine. And within this mission, Poland has refused to send troops. And apparently, according to the Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk, he stated that Polish troops will not enter Ukraine even after a possible ceasefire. And along with this, the Croatian president has also promised not to send Croatian troops to Ukraine. So we've already got now that Poland, Croatia, and obviously Hungary, Slovakia, and other European countries will not be sending any troops to Ukraine, even if it's a peacekeeping mission. So I'll keep you updated on that. We've got some news coming from Germany that the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has once again refused to supply the Taurus missiles to Ukraine, citing the need to avoid a NATO-Russian war, reports NTV. We've also received news coming from Finland. The Prime Minister of Finland declared readiness for a possible attack by the Russian Federation. So the Finnish Prime Minister, in an interview with Yle, when asked if he felt afraid of Finland's possible participation in a war, he replied that this raised concerns, although I wouldn't use the word fear. I'm often asked about this abroad, and I answer that we are not afraid, but we are prepared for the worst case scenarios. So the Prime Minister has declared Finland's readiness for repelling a possible, he stated, a possible Russian attack on Finland. We've got some news coming from Denmark. So ever since the collapse of Assad in Syria, it seems that a lot of European nations are now trying to pay Syrians to go back to Syria. So Denmark now is going to be paying Syrians 27,000 euros to each adult Syrian returnee. We've also got news. Austria is now giving 1,000 to, I believe, 2,000 euros to every single Syrian returnee that returns back to Syria. So it seems that more and more nations seem to be joining in this boat. We've got news that Nancy Pelosi was rushed to the hospital in Luxembourg after she broke her hip during a trip abroad in Luxembourg. I have no other news on this matter, but she's apparently been hospitalized, so I'll keep you updated on that. We've also got news that the EU Council has approved the accession of Bulgaria and Romania to the Schengen from January the 1st, 2025. So if you don't know what Schengen is, it is an area encompassing 29 European countries that have officially abolished border controls. as their mutual borders. Very interesting news. So Bulgaria and Romania will be joining. So I'll keep you updated on that. We've got some news coming from France. That's the new Prime Minister of France has been elected. So Macron has picked another Prime Minister of France after the other one decided to resign. So he is 73 years old, this new Prime Minister of France. And his name, I'm going to completely butcher this, but I'm going to put it here in your bottom left corner. And his name is Francois Bayrou. So this is the new Prime Minister of France. So he previously held the post of Minister of Education, and he also was a presidential candidate in the elections of 2002, 2007, and 2012. Sorry. So very interesting news. And the next news we have received today is coming from Georgia. We've got news that the Georgian president's term has expired today. So the Constitutional Court has ruled that ex-president Zarabishvili, I'll put her name here in your bottom left corner because I probably completely butchered that, has violated the Constitution when she disobeyed the parliament, which banned her from official trips and meetings with foreign leaders. So the Georgian parliament has adopted a law on depriving former presidents who violated the constitution of state security. We've already got news that a new president of Georgia has been elected. So Mikhail Saakashvili has been elected president of Georgia, the Central Election Commission reports. So the sixth president of Georgia was elected. The candidate of the ruling party, Georgian Dream, Democratic Georgia, former member of the parliament. So the new president of Georgia was voted in by 224 members of the 300 members abroad voted for him. So a clean sweep of victory in the Georgian parliament. So here in your bottom left corner, he is now the new president of Georgia. Now let's head to Turkey. We've got news that the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken has arrived in Ankara, the capital city of Turkey, for talks with the Turkish President Erdogan. So the US Department stated that Erdogan and Blinken discussed regional cooperation and shared interest in supporting Syrian-led political transition to accountable and inclusive government. Blinken stressed the importance of all parties in Syria respecting human rights and protecting civilians, including minorities. Blinken and Erdogan discussed the urgent need to also conclude a ceasefire agreement in Gaza. So I'll keep you updated on that. We've also got some more news coming from Syria. The new Syrian government has written a letter to the UN Security Council complaining about the Israeli incursion into its territory. So now the HTS rebels leaders have now written to the, I believe it was the UN, the UN Security Council of the Israeli advancement into Syria, and it seems it continues. The Israeli Defense Forces continue activities in Syria, in, I quote, the disengagement zones amid regional tensions. So the Israeli forces are continuing operations with within the disengagement zones against reported positions of the Syrian army. So again, we've also got news that there have been more Israeli missile strikes around Syria. So if we see these videos here in your bottom left corner, we can see huge Israeli strikes on aviation, former Syrian Air Force. So the IDF has reportedly destroyed some 80% of Syria's strategic military assets since Assad was ousted by HTS rebels. So again, there's still huge Israeli airstrikes that are currently happening in Syria. We've also got news that the Turkish flag was raised over the building of the country's embassy in Syria. It is now resuming operations after almost 13 years, Turkish media reports. So Turkish embassies in Syria are now reopening since 13 years ago. We've got news that Russian column military vehicles continue to withdraw from military bases and outposts across Syria towards Tartus and Himlin. So That's the Tartus is the port of Syria. So these Russian troops seem to be evacuating, and there's been some talks that the Russian troops might be opening a new military base, but not in Syria anymore, but maybe in Libya. So I'll keep you updated on that. And the last statements come today of Syria is coming from the new Syrian leader, the HTS rebel leader, which I think his real name is Abu Muhammad. So Abu Muhammad calls on all Syrians that migrated to other countries, especially Europe, due to the war in Syria, to return to Syria. So he's now asking all Syrians who obviously left Syria to return. Now let's go to Niger. So we've got news that the Niger suspends BBC operations for 3 months, the ministry reports. So the Nigerian authorities have suspended the operations of the UK-based BBC broadcasters for 3 months, the ANP news agency reported, citing the country's Ministry of Communications, Post and Digital Economy. So the Nigerian officials accused the BBC of broadcasting false information intended to destabilize the situation in the country and of undermining troop morale. So Niger has just suspended BBC in Niger for at least 3 months, and I'll keep you updated if they end up actually extending it. We've got some news coming from the Taliban, Afghanistan. So apparently Afghanistan has developed a cargo vehicle, the Zalbshala Mushab. Spokesman for the Islamic Emirate announced that the National Development Corporation, the NDC, has developed a new type of cargo vehicle, according to Moshid. The vehicle will soon be ready for use in transporting goods across the country. He further stated that the NDC has a range of other products which are expected to be unveiled soon. So Afghanistan, well, the Taliban has just announced and showed us apparently a new domestically produced truck which will be taken into action and are going to be mass produced in Afghanistan to transport goods within the country. So I'll keep you updated on that. We've got some news come from India. That's the Indian light tank. An Indian light tank successfully completes high altitude firing trials. So the Indian light tank is being designed as a 25-ton class armored fighting vehicle to meet the requirements of the armed forces for high altitude applications and to boost the army's combat capabilities along the frontier with China. So we can see this new Indian tank. It is now being tested, obviously, in high mountainous regions of India. I quote this news application. It states to boost the army's combat capabilities along the frontier with China. So I'll keep you updated on that. We've also got some news coming from China. That we've gotten the key statements of China's President Xi Jinping at the meeting with Russia's Security Council Deputy Chairman Dmitry Medvedev. So we talked about the ex-president of Russia's visit to China a couple of days now. We've just gotten news that he has just met the president of China, Xi Jinping, at a meeting. So I'll just go over the quick main statements of their meeting. So China believes that the Ukrainian crisis should not be provoked for further escalation. It's necessary to promote early deterrence of situation in Ukraine. China is ready to strengthen the element of the development strategies with Russia. China will continue to work with the international community to create favorable conditions for political regulations of the Ukrainian crisis. Russia and China must work together to maintain global strategic stability and international justice. So that was the key statements that came out of that meeting. We've also got news that the Chinese President Xi Jinping has rejected Donald Trump's invitation to the inauguration. So Xi Jinping will not be attending the inauguration of Donald Trump because Donald Trump actually invited him. He's now seemed to have rejected it. We've got some news coming from South Korea that with 204 votes in favour and 85 against, the South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol has been impeached. So the President of South Korea has just been impeached due to his short-lasted martial law that happened, I'm pretty sure, 2 weeks now. So he has now been impeached. The President of South Korea has been impeached. And now let's head to the last news come today, and it's coming from the US. So the US claims breakthrough in hypersonic weapon tests. The US Department of Defense has just reported a successful test of the Dark Eagle hypersonic weapon system, a major breakthrough after Washington left the Intimate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty in 2018. The new system bolsters rockets could be launched from either land or vessel, while the weapon has a range of 1,700 miles, or in kilometers is 2,700 kilometers, with a warhead traveling a speed of 3,800 miles per hour, or 6,105 kilometers an hour. So the US claims major breakthrough in hypersonic weapon test. So very big news coming from that. And we've also received news that President-elect Donald Trump calls for mysterious drones to be shot down amid rising concerns. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, there's been very weird drone sightings that are appearing in New Jersey in America, and Donald Trump has stated and calls for mysterious drones to be shot down amid rising concerns. So it seems that someone actually tried to shoot down this weird, I think, drone. So if you see this video here, it looks like someone was actually listening to Donald Trump, and people on X are actually shooting at drones. One person mentioned that this shooter here in your bottom left corner is using an airsoft gun that can't reach the distance, but it seems that people are now actually taking Donald Trump's advice and now trying to shoot down these mysterious drone sightings that are now appearing in New Jersey. So I'll keep you updated on that. And the last news come today is the American magazine Time named the person of the year. It was Donald Trump. So Trump has now been announced the person of the year. So very interesting news. And that's all the news I actually have for you today. I am Unseen News. I'll try and provide you news that medias around the world do not show you. I do these videos hopefully daily, so consider subscribing and liking. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.